Alright, welcome back. This is M-Dog, and we are here at Mosquito Lake. Folks have been posting about catching their trophy-eyed here at Mosquito. Let me sort of some housekeeping first while we are getting started here is I am using a slightly different method involving OBS and bitrate and which computer I'm recording from, all kinds of sort of complicated, not that complicated, but you know, different things going on with my processes. So one of the things I'm trying to figure out, and I'm sort of doing this running around to test this as part of it, is am I getting a higher quality, better quality recording than I have previously? I certainly should be, but you never know when something's going to work as intended or not. So that's one thing. You can let me know if you notice how's the quality, audio, video, especially as I move around. Are you noticing anything different? The other thing that I have discovered, and this is, I suppose it's a little bit embarrassing that this is something I'm just now discovering, but that on OBS, I can actually pause the recording and then unpause the recording. So I can do this without having to edit the video using other software, just in OBS actually. And so I'm going to pause it here to sort of demonstrate this, and then I'll unpause and we'll be back at the rods. All right, you ready for this? Okay, so wasn't that nice? All right, let's go ahead and see. Ooh, I'm seeing one issue here. And I will need to go in here and see what toggle HUD is. It's gotta be one of the hotkeys I'm using for starting, stopping, and pausing. Hey, that's a nice common carp for Mosquito. All right, we are here at 5386, 5387. We're casting 20 meters on our clip. I meant to change that to a blinker so we wouldn't hear the bell. We have at least one more fish here. So we're fishing with corn on every line. We do have loop rig on every setup. I'll show you the actual setups here in a moment. But the point of this spot is to attempt to catch your trophy-eyed here at Mosquito so that you can fill up your trophy card. I think I caught it on boilies back in the day, or when this trophy card system came out. But for some people, eyed or maybe perch ends up being often the last trophy that you're able to catch. So a couple things. First of all, let me go to to settings and to hotkeys and find out, is there something already associated? I don't see anything. So there appears to be a shortcut that toggles the HUD, but it's looking like it's not something I can. My goodness, I didn't know there was running by default. That seems like a no-brainer. We'll see in reality if I like it, but so F12 is screenshot. All right, I'm going to test this again with pause to see if it makes the HUD disappear. Hey, there's an eyed, 545 gram eyed. I like it. Oh, now we're running by default. Okay, that's going to actually take some getting used to. Yeah, I don't know if I like it. I'll have to think about that. All right, let me pause it again. Okay, so the pause did not. I wonder if it's actually F9, which started the recording. That's the hotkey I'm using to start recording. That might be what actually removed the HUD. We'll see. I don't know. I'll get there eventually. All right, for right now, let's take a good look at these three setups. So we've got 2 carp rods and 1 feeder, just to show some variety here. On our feeder rod, we have the Evia, so we could be getting a lot more strength out of this, but it works, whatever. We're using a 17.4 liter, again, loop rig. We're set up with this recipe for eyed, which is basically just eyed ground bait, but we've added in the corn. We're using corn as a bait, so we've added that as an extra additive. Other than that, it's just your basic eyed ground bait. We're using large 1 hooks with corn on all 3 setups. Again, loop rig, this is the feeder. This is a carp rod, still the same setup. We're just using different different rods. The carp rods, I do have 19 kiloliter and 22 kilo, actually a carp leader. I may change this one to a smaller size. For Mosquito, that just feels a little big to me, but we'll see. Let's see if there's a fish on. I guess there's not. The thing I have to watch with these eyed is they're light biters sometimes. I actually should probably have, I can't do it with the carp rod, but with the feeder, I could actually put this on a lighter quiver tip, which I should do. So those are the setups. Like I said before, we are simply casting out 20 meters towards the 4-meter hole that's out here at Mosquito off of 5387. A lot of people have posted about this spot recently. Dimitri Silkin is one of the most up-to-date or recent posts on VK that I saw. But again, this is, as folks are trying to catch this trophy eye, this is a pretty well-known spot. Yeah, so this is going to be a really different experience for me as a content creator and potentially for you as a viewer. And is that a tench? I love the tench like corn. I kind of forgot that, but that is true. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think about this. Pausing, and you know, if I spend 45 minutes fishing and that ends up being a 12-minute video or less even, you know, kind of what's your preference? My perspective right now is I would imagine that I will still do both types, even though I can pause now. I won't always use that because I really like the sort of long form, getting a feel for really what the bite rate is on a spot. But then there's some situations like this situation we're in now where you're trying to fish for a species that it's just not, it's not a fast bite rate, it's slow. And this allows you to kind of just stay with the action. Yeah, so what do y'all think about that? Still have not made the changes to that third rod. Although, to be fair, the third rod has had as good a bite rate as anything. Although I think it's only caught carp so far with the larger leader on there and with the bell instead of the blinker. Yeah, I almost forgot to unpause you there to see this fish. Definitely some adjustment. Hey, that's the fish we're looking for, and that's a nice size, 1.89 eyed. And just to sort of keep you in the know, you may watch sort of the time as it is flying by per per fish. But in the last 13 minutes, we have now caught 7 fish. 2 of them were eyed. Of course, the fish that we're technically trying to catch at the moment. All right, I'm going to make some changes really quick to this line now that we have another fish on. We just don't need the size we have. So in case it impacts at all, let's go down to, there might not be, yeah, 18.1 actually looks good. Let's go down to 18.1. I'll also put this on here. There we go. Beautiful. We have some nibbles going on here. I don't want to mess them up, but I believe there's fish on the middle rod. Yeah. So you notice it's 21:58. This was actually one of the longer times, if not the longest, between bites. There's an eyed. And I don't know, it's because other species maybe are starting to be less active and that's slowing us down. All right, we still don't have a fish on that first line, but you see there was a 6 minute, probably 6.5 minute gap between those 2 fish, which is quite a while to wait, especially if you don't have a pause option. But I'm going to be really curious what, especially through the overnight hours, that's going to be sort of the final test here, is how active or slow is it during those overnight hours. So that I believe was actually a fake, I mean, that was just sort of a nibble. I don't think we have a fish on yet on line 1. And that's one of the situations where it was such a strong pull that you're sort of tempted there to pick up the rod, but that increases the chance that you might actually mess the bite up. So glad that I didn't pick it up, because I think it's still getting a nibble. It just hasn't gotten, the fish has not auto hooked yet onto the feeder rig. So we'll see what overnight looks like in this spot. Okay. Oh, if this is an eyed, we're in business. That's a decent tench. 2.1 kilo? That was a really nice tench. I'm just realizing that my output settings are still not correct if I want true HD to be an option on these. So, okay, we're gonna have to remember. I should have thought about that before doing it. It's fine, but we're now 1 tench short. That first tench we caught, I don't know, somewhere in here, is no longer in the net. But so yeah, I'll let you know. But hopefully the next video that I release when I talk about this will be the one to check to see how much of an upgrade the video quality is, at least. And remember, and I mentioned this on another video, but Russian Fishing 4 content, I tend to release usually the day that I record it. So I feel like Russian Fishing 4 is so time sensitive in terms of spots and all that. But other content that I record, it's one way for me to reward folks who have decided to join the membership level on YouTube, is that a lot of the content I release, I will schedule, you know, for the next day or the next week, or I get a sort of a schedule, especially when I have time, when I have more free time available. I can make much more content and then have it release over the next couple weeks or whatnot. So there's still content that's going to be releasing that was before I started to tinker with some of these settings to hopefully have a little bit higher quality in the videos. Oh, chat, this has been a long wait. I mean, we're over 10 minutes now. I think we finally have another fish on. I mean, if you really need your trophy-eyed, apparently this is the spot right now. And we have caught some eyed, but you're clearly only here in this spot to try to get the trophy. Not because of the excitement. We are now sitting at 38 minutes, and we have exactly 12 fish because we did sell the 1 tench to the cafe, which, yeah, this bite rate would be slow just about no matter what species we were after. Certainly something like eyed. But, you know, here at Mosquito, I don't know that I've ever fished for eyed where it wasn't slow. You're just trying to hit the trophy and be done with it. I suppose if we were using smaller hooks, and if there was whatever bait we were using, something that was just like really active, and then eyed were the bycatch, that would be a less stressful way to fish for eyed, or less boring way really to fish for eyed, but then you're a lot less likely to hit the trophy that way too. So it just sort of depends what your end goal is. If it's to finish off that trophy card, then sometimes this kind of thing is what you have to wait for. I was really fortunate back when I went for the eyed using those boilies. I think I got it on the second night that I was trying for it, which it's 5:37 in the morning. That's one thing to note, is that we actually caught 0 eyed overnight, which it's been a long time for me, but I really thought that eyed were somewhat active overnight. So for us to have 0 is at least not what I was expecting. Okay, I think we have a bite coming in. Yeah, I believe it's on now. Yep. Okay, at least it's reasonably sized. So I'm only going to do this till about 8 a.m., which is, you know, just over an hour and a half from now. One thing that is nice, I guess, now that it's daytime, is that at least you do have common carp coming in. Not that common carp are the best bite rate either here at Mosquito, but we do have a few coming in. Let's check the fish market. I mean, we are sitting at 42, plus we did that cafe order. So the silver is not as low as I would have thought, even thinking about, you know, lower level players. The question is, like, what is their gear like? Because you would definitely want to have strong enough gear to be able to fairly effortlessly get some of these sub 3 kilo common carp in. But at the end of the day, it's slow no matter what level you are. But the silver is not as low as I would have expected. Ooh, that was a strong bite. I think it's a tench. It's another nice tench. So between the tench and the common carp, at least during the daytime, you're seeing a few fish come in. All right, finally, last fish. I was just trying to give it one more fish, and we went sailing past 8 a.m., unfortunately. But we did we did get one more fish in, and it was an eyed, you know, which is sort of weird. Maybe the eyed are just a little better during the day, at least in this spot for some reason. I mean, as you can see, we just sort of skipped right over the overnight hour in terms of catching these eyed. So one final time here, we're at 53.87, 20-meter clip, fishing with corn. We are using this kind of ground bait. You know, if you're going for the eyed trophy, then yes, it might be worth your time to do this. Folks have been catching the eyed trophy. If you are not going for the eyed trophy, there are certainly better spots for you to be fishing at. All right, well, I am glad to have discovered this pausing mechanic on OBS. I don't know that a spot like this would have been possible for me to sort of stick with, if not for knowing that I wasn't actually recording every painful moment of sitting here. So yeah, let me know what you think about that pause feature. I would say for spots like this, it's probably something I'll start using a little more often, but I'm still sure I'll do plenty of long form content where we don't break at all. So as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, and I will see you next time.